Good morning, good morning, good morning, Dominica. Welcome to the Heng for today, the 30th day of April 2020, the final day of April in the year 2020. This time tomorrow, April 2020, will be no more. Never to come back again in our lifetime for sure, that is. It is day number 121 in the year 2020. There are 245 days left in the year to make it great. 32.8% of the year has come and gone. Good morning to you wherever you are, the north, south, east, or west. It's a special day today. The Honorable Prime Minister will join us in studio, not on the telephone, in studio, to speak to us live here on the Hang. I'm sure that there will be some phone calls, so I want to warn you early. Keep your points short and sweet. No long talala this morning, as we usually do. Short and sweet so we can give a lot of people enough time to call in and engage the Prime Minister once he is here. Of course, when the Prime Minister arrives, we'll begin with a few introductory words. We'll allow the Prime Minister to make some opening statements, ask a couple questions, and then we will, I'm sure, we'll open up the lines and allow the general public to interact with the Prime Minister. I know that's what he likes. That's what he comes on the radio for, to interact with the general public. You can also view us on the Prime Minister's Facebook page as well. So you can go to Facebook, the Roosevelt Skerrit, and you can view him in studio here on Kairi FM for the Heng this morning. The Brain, good morning to you.
Good morning, Daryl. It's a pleasure to be here this morning, the 30th of April 2020. It's a month end. I know everyone is looking forward, to receiving it.
But
no, look at me.
I warning you, when the PM come.
Well, I'm taking all my latitude now. Right now, I'm taking my PM not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pleasure to be here. It's a wonderful day in Dominica once again, Daryl. It's beautiful sunlight. The weather is good. The breeze blowing from the east to the west at about 5 knots, between 5 and 10 knots. So indeed, it's a beautiful day. It's the end of April.
Yes, it's the end of April, the beginning of May tomorrow. And of course, we're hoping that May will bring ease on restrictions. Not the first day of May, but towards the end of May. We're hoping that some level of normalcy will come back. We continue to have very good numbers in the COVID-19 fight. We are still at 3 people, and hopefully by this weekend we will hear we are even further down the ladder at 0. So let's hope for that. 16 confirmed cases, and only 3 remain. 13 of those confirmed cases have been treated, have tested negative, and have been discharged from COVID-19 facilities. But we want to take caution. We have seen places like Germany and Florida ease restrictions, and then once again there was a spike in cases. So we have to be very cautious what we do going forward. We continue to give the full support to the first responders, the police officers, the nurses, the doctors, the ward aides, all the healthcare professionals, and everyone who has made it possible for us to be having the success we have had so far in our fight against COVID-19.
Yes, well, let us also remind ourselves that God is in it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to put God first in everything we do. We must not forget our spiritual aspect. And God has been very good to us, and He has brought us thus far. And we're hoping that, as you said, by the end of May, things will be much brighter in terms of being able to do some relaxation, but with caution.
Yes.
I saw that the doctor is saying that he's going to do some
community surveys and that sort of thing.
To find out, to guide, statistics, and the research is critical in terms of decision making. So at the end of the exercise, we hope that the good doctor will give us, information that certain, ease can be given to the public.
Okay, all right, good. But we always like to look at the world figures, Brain. 3,237,600 cases confirmed since December. There have been 1,010,000 10,000 recovered cases. 1,010,000 recovered. Of the active cases left, that is 1,998,701. 97% are in mild condition and only 3% in serious or critical condition. And of the closed cases, again, the numbers continue to look better and better. 82% of closed cases have recovered and only 18% have passed on. We heard that in some of our sister islands, they have had recorded new cases. Yesterday, I heard 2 coming out of St. Lucia. I think there was a couple in Grenada, I believe, and in St. Vincent as well. But we have to hold strong. We have to keep the faith. We have to keep doing what we're doing. Now is not a time to be complacent. We have to bear in. And by next Monday, I believe, next Monday or Tuesday, we would have gone through 2 full incubation cycles where there have been no new cases. So we look forward to that. Let's hope that we can keep it that way.
Well, in science, after two cycles, at least clinically speaking, it seems to me that would be in the clear. If we keep our borders secured, and no persons arrive on the island, or without being checked and placed in government quarantine, as I said before, I do not believe in this thing where a man goes at his home and quarantine himself. If you're coming from the island, if by chance those guys who are on the boat come on the island, they must be placed in mandatory quarantine.
Well, that has been done, It's not other countries where you have to go to quarantine at your home, or if you go in quarantine, you have to pay. Okay? So, but let's hope our figures can continue. One of the things I can make it clear, I do not support any opening of our ports. I think that's the last thing we should do. The opening of the ports. We can do everything else. Yeah. Every all of the restrictions we have in place. We have eased liquor license. We have done this. We have done that. We can open up the country, but the ports are the last thing I think we should open at this time, because it is while we are doing good here, out there it's still quite scary.
Yes, quite scary. And so, Daryl, you have my 100% support. The ports must remain closed is the last thing on the agenda at this point in time.
Well, speaking of the ports, I visited the airport yesterday along with the Minister for Health and officials from the Ministry of Health, to include the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Health. There was also the Minister for Agriculture, the Minister for State in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for planning. He too was in attendance. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, senior health officials, the Director of Primary Health Care. And even with all these people here, social distancing was observed in most part, and visited the Port Health Facility at the Douglas Charles Airport, where they have put together this concrete structure, resilient concrete structure. I think it is built with the same technology that it was used to build the homes in Point Michel and in Lagley in the Concord area in the Kalinago territory. That structure is up. It is 98% complete, just the finishing touches, and that structure will afford the port health workers, environmental health department, to screen and also isolate any passenger which is deemed to be a risk. Okay, so that's where you can screen and isolate passengers, and that facility is there. There was a facility there before the building that was destroyed by Hurricane Maria, but a new building has been put in place. It is a resilient building, and it was built according to specifications of the Ministry of Health, and it is up. And if you look at Facebook, WhatsApp, there are pictures circulating, and you can see that lovely, you like to say this, edifice there at the port, the Douglas Charles Airport. But Brian, yesterday, while you held the fort, I went out and about, and we were checking these things out. We started at Maho, where we got to look at the health center being constructed there in Maho, right next to the playing field. That looks to be about 70% complete. And work is continuing at a very fast pace in Maho, and very soon the community of Maho will have a very good-looking health center. This is part of the 12 health centers that are being built across Dominica, and that is, of course, going to be built through funds made available through the Citizenship by Investment program. So it started in Maho, and if we looked at the health centers, we went then to Marigot. In Marigot, that looks to be about 40% complete. They are up. The building, the superstructure is up. And of course, they have started doing finishing touches. And when I say finishing touches, tiling, windows, and that sort of thing. But the superstructure, the main concrete frame, is up. And these buildings are being built with cast iron concrete. There are no blocks in the outer layers of the building. These are strong, hurricane resilient buildings that are being constructed there. So Marigot is about 45 to 50% complete. Then land has been identified in the Ansdimi area. Land has been identified in the Ansdimi area, and very soon a new health center will begin construction there. Then you moved on to, Wesley. Work is ongoing in Wesley. And Wesley, the health center is being built right next to the health centers that already exist at Wesley there, but an improved structure for which the parliamentary representative for that area, Honorable Fidel Grant, is indeed very pleased and happy that this is being built. These health centers will take into account Nurses Bay, area for dentistry. They will also have, I think, a couple sick beds so you can stay overnight. There'll be doctors' quarters, nurses' quarters, administrative section, and that sort of thing. And I think they'll also include small pharmacies as well. So a lot of your primary health needs will be available in one location. So you won't have to leave Wesley and go to Marigot to go to the pharmacy. You won't have to leave Ansdimi and go all the way to Portsmouth to go to the pharmacy to do some dentist work and that sort of thing. All these things will be available at this location. There is construction work, and that is about 90%, 90 to 95% complete in the Vacas area, Vacas constituency, and it is probably the health center with the best view anywhere in the world. It overlooks the bay there, and it is really, as you enter the village, when you come up the big hill around the corner there, you enter the village there, right opposite the cemetery, the Catholic cemetery. You have this lovely building there that is going up. They have started painting already. That's to show you how far along it is. And very soon, I think, within the next month or so, the Vacas Health Center is to be handed over. Penville work is ongoing on there as well. But I believe that Vacas was given a little priority so that you complete Vacas, then you put all your energy on the Penville Health Center. And I think by about September, thereabouts, Penville should be complete. From Penville, you move to Georgetown. Now, we know of the major housing projects that was done in the Georgetown area. But the health center complements this so tremendously, Brain. The health center is 99% complete. 99% complete. Just some tiling and that sort of thing is being done. The landscaping is already done. Okay? And the building could be used tomorrow. But the contractor is doing the finishing touches. It is 99% complete and is expected to be handed over in about 2 weeks' time. What we must commend the folks in the Georgetown area about is this is done by a local contractor, and I learned that it is 6 months ahead of schedule. It was started in December. It was expected to be completed in December of 2020, started in December 2019, but this building is 6 months and more ahead of schedule, and is to be handed over in 2 weeks' time, Brain. In 2 weeks' time, this lovely building is to be handed over. So you can check out the photos. I think Kairi FM has put these photos up on its Facebook page. You can check it out there and other places. Very soon, over the weekend, the Government Information Service will release these photos and put some detailed descriptions of what is going on. But Brent, what that shows is that even with the effects of COVID-19, the health priorities in improving healthcare around Dominica has continued and has even been fast-tracked to ensure that people have proper health facilities. So while folks were calling for 15,000 people to be stricken by COVID-19, government was focused on improving healthcare, not just in the fight of COVID-19, because COVID-19 will soon be behind us. God's will, it will soon be behind us. But the health facilities will be with us for a long, long time.
Tremendous work. I had difficulty keeping up with you, Darrell, in terms of the amount of projects in relation to health. My goodness me, I couldn't even keep up pace. You went right across Marigot and you ended up in Georgetown. Almost the entire northern district.
Well, the entire northern district, because work will soon commence in Coliho. Land has been identified for Coliho as well. And if we go down to the south, Bellevue-Chopin is ongoing. Work is ongoing there. That is moving very quickly, I understand. Soufriere, land has been identified as well. There is also the new health center for Bagatelle. And for the people of Newtown, my own area, the land has been identified, and very, very soon we'll see work commence on the new health center for the Newtown area, the Roseau South constituency. And I know for sure that work is ongoing to make the Roseau health facility a reality.
But don't leave me behind, Darrell. I'm in Goodwill, you know. And in Goodwill, I'm looking at the new hospital. Part 2 and Part 3 and Part 4 simultaneously. And when I passed by Lindo Park yesterday, looking at it, my goodness me, Darrell, I do not know what the Chinese have, but they're really moving quickly.
Well,
the building close to Clem John by the tank, that
is
building
complete.
is completed. The other one adjacent to it is almost finished.
And the last time I was there, they were saying that they should finish by about August, I
yes,
believe.
but I'm telling you that within August, August, September for the latest, that will be completed. Not only that, the type of equipment that has been placed in that facility already, the ones that were completed already.
Yes, the MRI and the what have you.
Is state of the art. And so it means that in the future, maybe in the next year or two, Dominicans may not have to travel to Martinique to perform certain, health-related activities. They will be done right here in Dominica.
Not only do we have good equipment, we have a number of specialists who have trained and returned home. I know there's a young lady who is, I think it is Dr. James. She is a specialist in kidneys. I think it's called nephrology. Okay? She's a specialist. I know there's an intensive care specialist, cardiologist, all the special, and there are still those out there who are training as well. So by the time this hospital, this Dominica China Friendship Hospital is fully complete, we would have had quite a bit of people who are able to work right here in Dominica. And you're correct that we probably won't have to go overseas wherever to do some things that we have been doing before. Things like MRI and this sort of thing. Well, we don't do mammogram and those things overseas anymore. But things like MRI, HIFU and those things, we won't have to go overseas to do it. This will be done right here in Dominica. And we have to thank our friends from the People's Republic of China. We have to thank them for making this hospital available to us. This was part of the 4 pillar projects that were signed upon when we entered diplomatic relations with China all the way back in 2004. And promises made, promises kept.
They were delivered. They delivered the goods.
Yes.
And not only that, why all this activity is taking place in health, let us not forget that Dominica was able to test for COVID-19.
Oh, yes. It's because of the improvements at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. The forward thinking that, look, with the way things are going in the medical field, we were not prepared to test for COVID-19. We were prepared to conduct molecular testing. And that means that, you can separate this and that. I am not the medical person, so I can't go into detail. You're the science man. But it meant that these tests could be done here, where other countries have to wait 3 or 4 days to get results. We get our results within 24 hours. And other countries, I know one country in particular, they took the samples on Saturday. They were only able to fly it out on the following Tuesday, and they only got the results on the Friday.
Boy,
Results came back. 2 people were positive for this COVID-19 business.
So you can see Daryl is forward thinking. And when the slogan, the word resilient, came in people's mind during the campaign, I was beginning to think, what does that really mean? But now I can see it actually manifesting itself, whereby you can see Dominica is ahead of its time.
Well,
we are very much advanced.
Well, Brain, I spoke about all the health centers. You brought up the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. There is one particular project we're living out.
Which one?
The new Northeast Regional Regional Hospital in Marigot.
I know you're coming to that.
Brain,
just cut it around.
look concrete that was poured yesterday. Okay? The entire base of this project, concrete. Trucks coming in by 2, by 3, and coming in there and pouring concrete, and fellas at work, Brain, work. And concrete being poured, and you can see that this building, it is moving at a rapid pace.
I don't like the word building for such a structure.
Edifice?
An edifice would be the most appropriate thing. An edifice is rising, whereby the leader of the opposition told us some time back it was just a pie in the sky. But no, look at Lennox. The reality is manifesting itself.
Well, the pie being eaten, I can tell you that. Because, partner, I see some work going on there. And we have to commend the local people who are employed on this project. The contractors, MMCE, have continued to manage this project in a very responsible way. Projects are built and delivered on time, sometimes before time. Projects are very good to look at. They're very pleasing to the eye. These edifices that you know, they're very good. But when this Northeast Regional Hospital is complete, you will see that this great improvement in the healthcare system. And look, you will be able to stay on top of the Northeast Regional Hospital and look across over there and see the new Marigot Health Center. Okay?
Boy.
Primary health care and serious health care. What they call the hospital.
But Daryl, in summarizing quickly, look work in local language, me travail, gouvernement ka travail. And when a government is working, we have to give them their credit. This is the most, prolific batsman I've seen in our politics. Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, he is a very prolific batsman. To be able to do all these activities parallel with COVID-19 is nothing less than miraculous. We must say that. It is tremendous work. We did not even touch the housing. We just focused on health.
On health. All right. We have someone on the telephone. Good morning.
Yes, Donald Daryl, bless up.
And you have only 30 seconds. You have only 30 seconds.
One thing I never support and I respect.
Man doesn't listen to me.
He doesn't talk for talking sake.
My partner.
For yourself.
Hello.
I'm telling you.
Hello.
You don't have me calling radio. That's why
My friend.
I'm telling you, my brother.
You need to listen to me, my partner. I need to tell you something. We don't have much time. We may have to change our focus a little bit, Brain, because I'll explain to you, but we may have to change our focus a little bit. Okay? The Prime Minister will still be on. We just may have to tweak, make a couple changes. Okay? So let's see what is going on there. I'm just waiting word on what to do. But my partner, the Rivernicker, what do you call? You need to listen to me because I sometimes need to engage you. So let's do that. But yes, Brian, we were saying that when you look, when this Marigot Hospital comes up, and this is going to be in line with the new airport project, the new international airport. This is going to be in line with the new port, cargo port. This is going to be in line with the new cruise ship facility. This is in line with all the major housing projects that are going on across Dominica. This is in line with the new Massac covered indoor court facility. This is in line with the new Vacas Community Center and other community centers that are going to be built. This is in line with the Layu Resource Center and Hurricane Shelter that is complete. This is in line with the improvements that we have made to sea defense across Dominica, the improvements in infrastructure, the $11 million Cochrane Road. This is in line with the improvements in tourism made possible through the CBI, the Kempinski Resort, the Jungle Bay Resort, Bois Cotlet, the Rainforest Resort that is being built, the new hotel that's going to be built across the road from the Kempinski. This is in line with all those things, Brain.
And not only that, do not forget the promenade across the riverside.
Yes.
This is already completed, just waiting for opening. And also the one in Portersville by the Portersville Savannah, close to the BMC.
Yes.
That is already completed and soon to be handed over for activity to take place.
Yes. And then you if you go down to Hillsborough, when you get off that bridge there, you see that beautiful length of work that was done there. The Hillsborough to Frulayu Valley Road, that is earmarked to be done. I think funding might come through the CBD. The Prime Minister announced that from the Emerald Pool all the way through Casa Bruce into the Kalinago territory, down to Pegwa Hatton Garden there, that road is going to be built at a cost of $100 million. $100 million roads. You had the E.O. Libla Highway that was constructed. The Dr. Nicholas Liverpool Highway. Okay? All these things were done during this government,
But not only that, Daryl, what about the lighting? You're not paying attention to the solar lights being placed all over the island. I passed through Dodan, Paybush. The lights are on. I went across through Loubier, Bellevue Chopin, Pichelin. The lights are on. It's a new type of lights. They use wind and solar. So the Prime Minister had promised that he would be lighting the entire island. And this is ongoing as we speak.
On the telephone, good morning.
Good morning, Daryl. Good morning, the brain.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes.
Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Oh, that's the Prime Minister.
That's the Prime Minister.
Good morning, PM. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on again.
Yes.
When last was I on? Was it this week?
You were on Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, Friday.
No, you were on Monday morning. Yeah, I believe you were on Monday morning. Yes.
Yeah. But I want to thank you for having me on.
Yes, sir.
I thought the visit yesterday was very refreshing.
Yes.
And also encouraging. As you know, we visited the Mao Health Center that is under construction, and also we visited the Marigot Hospital, where some 1,000 cubic yards of concrete was poured for a significant number of people employed. And I mean, this is going to be, as we said, a massive structure. And also we visited Portsmouth. I believe the minister would have gone into Wesley and also to Vegas. But I visited Portsmouth. Portsmouth is nearing completion. I've been told in the next few weeks the structure will be handed over to the Ministry of Health. So we can certainly improve the delivery of primary health care across the country. And I think next week we'll visit Bacatel, where health center is under construction there, and we'll also visit Bellevue Chopin, where another health center is under construction. So the number of very positive things happening across the country, notwithstanding the fact that we are confronting this COVID-19. I indicated when I spoke last time that we had concluded the tender process, not fully completed, but certainly I would have approved of the contract for the reconstruction of the roads from the Emerald Pool area down to Castle Bruce and to the Carnival territory and all the way on to Pigwa. This is a over $100 million undertaking. Certainly this is, if we can invest these monies in the next several months, one can appreciate the impact this will have on employment in this area and on the economies of Castle Bruce and the Carnival territory and, of course, the entire country. By mid-May, towards the early to mid-May, we'll also be signing another major contract for the construction of two regional hurricane shelters. As you know, after Hurricane Maria, the government had announced that it would be building these regional hurricane shelters to enhance the safety of citizens and residents during the hurricane season. We have built one in Layu, and there are two others that are down for construction to be financed with grant funds from the European Union. So once we conclude the final stages of the tendering process, then we will be in a position to give more specific details on this. We continue to build homes. We continue to hand over keys, and as I said, in the next couple of weeks or so, we'll be handing over well over 100 keys to citizens. I intend to visit Mont Jean and River Sirik hopefully next week. We have been building some homes there, so I need to go and check on them and to make sure that we can push to have them completed. If not before the hurricane season, certainly by the time the hurricane season comes in. So I'll be visiting this. And also, as you know, we have 66 or so units in Dalis that are complete. They're completed, and they will be handed over very soon. And I intend to pay a visit to this to the site, hopefully next week as well. Darrell,
Yes, sir.
I wanted to also indicate to the public, as there would have been public pronouncement on this, that we would have received some 14 million United States dollars from the International Monetary Fund, which is 89.4% of our quota. So we did not take the full 100% of our quota. We took 89.4% of our quota. These are extraordinarily concessionary financing, and the government is free to use it for whatever purpose the government intends to use these funds. I will be finalizing this today, but I believe that the intention of the government is to use some of these funds to help with income support, all right, those who would have lost their jobs, and also to help with many small businesses who would have been directly impacted by COVID-19. So, and I said that in an address to the nation soon, I will give more details on how these things are going to be operationalized. But the idea is to kick in the income support in the month of May, and we will get this going so that people those who are directly impacted can benefit from this. But my focus as a Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, has been heavily on the public sector investment program, because I believe that the government, through construction, can invest significant sums of money into the economy. Then that would certainly create jobs and economic activity that will benefit all of us in Dominica. The truck drivers, the merchants, if I'm building materials, engineers, skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled people, and that could be a major source of employment. As we saw after Hurricane Maria, where we had to import workers, I mean, we had a couple thousands of Caribbean people working in Dominica after hurricane because of the significant capital investment program which the government undertook. And so we'll be seeing, not to the extent of a post-Hurricane Maria time, but certainly in the investments that we'll be putting in would help the economy, where it would have help areas where the economy would have been impacted, especially in tourism. So we're very grateful for the funds from the IMF. As I indicated to the country, we have been for the last several months in the process of mobilizing resources. We've been doing so on a bilateral basis, and we have also been doing so from a regional standpoint, both at CARICOM level and also at the OECS sub-region level. And resource mobilization has been a major preoccupation of all governments and every government in CARICOM, because everyone's income would have been impacted. I want to say to the country that the funds from the IMF have come without no conditions on us. So there's nothing that the IMF is expecting us to do. The IMF knows this government. The IMF has been working with this government since 2000 through the austerity program, and we have continued to use the vast expertise which the IMF has in a number of areas. So I continue to use them, and they know that they're dealing with a responsible government, an accountable government, and a transparent government. And for many years up to today, our fiscal prudence and the responsible manner in which we have been conducting the affairs of state have caused Dominica to be the poster child of the IMF, in many respects. And so we're very grateful for the partnership that they have shown and the speed at which they approved the request, and they're disbursing the funds to so many countries across the world, the Caribbean included. Now, I'm not sure whether you have any questions you can always
Yes, PM. In terms of the IMF, do we have you mentioned that there are no conditions and that sort of thing, so it's not like we have to do certain things by June for us to draw down. Are we drawing down all the money at one time?
We will draw down all the money at one time.
Yes.
This money will be transferred to our account at the central bank, and we shall access it immediately.
Okay.
As I indicated, I'm looking at spending this money largely on persons who would have lost their jobs. And as you know, I had indicated in my comments last Saturday when I spoke to the nation, that I'm looking at from government resources about $19.5 million that will go to income support, supporting people who would have lost their jobs, and also supporting small businesses, both with grants and loans, to assist them weather the storm, so to speak. But I will fine-tune it, hopefully, today, God's willing.
Yes, PM. But in terms of the resources from the Dominica Social Security, I'm hearing guys with all this hoopla about they're going to file injunction and all these things, PM.
Well, first of all, it's unfortunate that I'm hearing these things, because these are extraordinary times. And for the country and for the Caribbean and for the world to overcome these challenges, we all going to have to work together. And we all going to have to give something to get something. You see, a government can only give what the government has. This government has been known to be extraordinarily generous with its giving on all fronts. But at the same token, we have to be responsible. This government doesn't, like what the governments in the OECS, we don't have the ability to print money. We cannot go to a central bank and say, okay, well, give me $50 million. We don't have the luxury as other developed countries and other countries with their own central bank operations have. So the issue of the DSS funds, let me make it very clear to the nation. The issue of looking at using the redundancy benefit fund was not, it did not originate from Roosevelt Skerrit, the Prime Minister, Minister of Finance. I did not write the DSS and say, well, give me X amount of money from this fund. No. We did not do that. The DSS, on its own volition, and also prompted by the Dominica Employers Federation, looked at this possibility. And the Employers Federation sent it out, I think, a 10-point strategy or 10-point plan to address challenges within the economy in light of COVID-19. And in one of those points, and I can forward the document to you so you could read to the public, that those points from the Dominica Employers Federation. One of those points was to use those funds, because I believe that the Dominica Employers Federation recognized that this is an extraordinary time, and it will call for extraordinary decisions. And if employers who are contributors to this fund recognize that they have an obligation to and concern for the employees, and these funds are sitting there, why not use some of it? So just to reiterate, this idea did not originate from myself or from the government. I received a document, a letter from the director of the Dominica Social Security, informing me that they had given consideration to the situation confronting the country, COVID-19, and have examined the possibility of using some of these funds to assist with the income, to assist people who would have lost their incomes. Because there are employers who have not sent home people, but who are not paying people their full salary or whatever it is. So they're looking at that possibility. And their intention is to, and both on the document from the Dominica Employers Federation, they were looking at helping about 7,500 people, which would include the bus drivers, etc. This is how we found out that the bus drivers, majority of them are not registered with the DSS. The DSS, in its own wisdom, own deliberate wisdom, decided to make contact with the actuary. And they posed the question, because the laws of Dominica does not make, just the DSS law doesn't make allowance for unemployment benefits. You understand? And the redundancy fund is really to be used to provide support to employers to help meet their redundancy commitment to their employees. You understand? So for the DSS to make a recommendation to use those funds, they would have had to get the cooperation and the acquiescence of the employers, the private sector, those who contribute to this fund. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, because DSS is really managing those funds on behalf of these people. And so the DSS, one, on the urging of the DEF, examine this possibility, and the DSS to seeking professional guidance from the actuary. They wrote to the actuary, and the actuary sent a report, which they also sent to me. You understand? And that report I can also make available to you so that you can read it to the public at some point.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. When I received that letter from the Director of Dominica Social Security, I sent it back to them. And I said, before I give my endorsement for this proposal before me, convene a meeting with all of the private sector entities, including the Dominican Employers Federation, to consult with them. The DSS sent back to say to me that they had a meeting with some private sector entities. I say, yeah, I said, that's fine. Go back and tell them the Prime Minister said to you to meet with them again. You understand? I am not surprised of the behavior of some of the people in the private sector today, or some of the entities representing the private sector today, because these people want to play games and want to play parochial partisan politics with the bread and butter, food on people's table. So for any one of them to give the public impression that it is the Prime Minister who is trying to take Social Security money, that is not the case. I have always been, as you people know, a respecter of people's monies. And the DSS monies have always been guarded
Yes.
by us. And so they went back and held discussions with the private sector entities, including the Dominican Employers Federation. Subsequent to this meeting, the DSS wrote to say that they held the discussions and there was unanimity in support of the proposal. Having received this, I convened a meeting with the private sector entities, including the Dominican Employers Federation, right, to discuss it. There was absolutely no dissenting voice. As a matter of fact, people were pressuring me. Prime Minister, when can you announce this? When can you announce this? These people, we need to know. No. You see what I'm saying? There was no dissenting voice whatsoever. So the DF is right to say that it was the one who proposed that. Of course they're the ones who proposed it. We never said we proposed it. And so we had this meeting and there was agreement. Myself as Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, having concerns about the legality of that decision, asked for a legal opinion from the Office of Attorney General, because I wanted to make sure that whatever decision I take is in conformity with the laws of Dominica. So this proposal is on my desk. I have not given my final approval to it because I was waiting on the legal opinion from the Office of Attorney General. Because at no time in my original continuous and present consideration of what measures the government has to take and the resources which the government needs to mobilize to provide support to people who have been impacted by COVID-19, did I ever give consideration to the DSS and the DSS funds? And if we as a government would go to the DSS for funds, it would have to be in the form of a loan.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I never gave any consideration to this. So I applaud the DSS and the management of the DSS for this forward-looking and this open-minded approach. But I have to be advised, and I also have to advise myself that the decision I'm taking is in conformity with the laws of Dominica. So the Attorney General's office provided a legal opinion, and which says in effect, yes, it can be done, but if it's going to be done, an SRO has to be effected. You understand?
Yes.
And this SRO is on my desk. I haven't acted on it. Because in my mind and in my being, I am even still uncomfortable with using DSS funds unless if it is in a form of a loan to the government. Because DSS funds, whether it is the redundancy funds or the funds that it is holding in trust for current pensioners and future pensioners, must be treated with the greatest sense of respect and the highest sense of fiduciary responsibility, which this government has an unenviable track record of doing. So the recommendation to use the DSS fund is not a making of the government. It did not originate from the government. It originated from a proposal from the Dominican Employers Federation and the Dominican Social Security. And the idea was, I don't have a document before me, the idea was to use a portion of the funds. A portion of the funds. And the government will be putting about $19.5 million to help people whose income would have been impacted.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
And other countries, there are countries whose laws make provision for that's the national. Some people call it national insurance, national insurance scheme, I believe. Some of the countries, their legislation make provision for unemployment benefits, and there are countries within the Caribbean whose legislation do not make provision for unemployment benefit. But because the countries of the world, the Caribbean included, are faced with this extraordinary challenge, all the governments are accessing their national insurance scheme or the social security scheme to assist people who would have lost their jobs. All. Because what governments are doing, every way they can get a little money or some money to put in the pot, governments are doing this. As small as it may be, it could have an impact on saving a small business. It could have an impact on providing food for people, and it could make an impact on providing some income to people so they could pay their little rent and buy food for their children and pay their bills. Every government is that, including the government of Dominica. In our case, for example, there is one project that I'm going to take some $10 million US from and replace it in the months ahead, because they need to support small businesses. They need to support people with income support. It's paramount now for us. So there's a project from the World Bank. I'm going to pull out some $10 million US to put in the pot. And it will be replaced down the road. And we've already gotten the concurrence of the World Bank in principle on this.
Yes.
So this is unfortunate, but there are people who play games, who speak from both sides of the mouths at the same time. But I just wanted to place this on record. So this is why I said, whoever wants to go and put an injunction on Social Security, my brother, feel free.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free. If you guys believe that you guys out there talking about you want to help people and people need to be helped and so on, and when we sit around a table to help these very same people you guys talking about, and you watch me in my face and you tell me, no problem, that's a good idea, let's roll it, we fool someone that this came from us. And then when we about to effect that decision, you are saying something else. You have a 360 big return. You see, Daryl, Brain,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
what these people, and I was going to use a word, but I think maybe school children listen. What these people thought, you see, they wanted to trap the government. They thought the government would just rush and take the money from the domestic social security without recognition of the law governing the domestic social security. But Roosevelt Skerrit is no fool. And this is why I asked the Attorney General to give me a legal opinion. And the Attorney General submitted a legal opinion, which I agree with entirely. And if we decide to go with this, and then it will go to the cabinet for cabinet to approve of the SRO, and for us to access the fund. But it has not passed the desk of the Minister of Finance fully. I'm in agreement with it in principle, because, as I said, this is extraordinary times, and where we can help. I know of one private sector person who messaged me yesterday and said, "Look, I went to the bank to get an overdraft to pay my salary, to pay my staff," and that is commendable. I'm hoping that his staff is appreciative of that effort, because overdraft money is not cheap, and for your employer to go and take an overdraft facility to pay you your salary because his revenue stream has dropped dramatically, but he want to keep you and give you a break. I'm hoping that you can go the extra mile for that employer. Sometimes the government goes to overdraft to meet its day-to-day expenses, because sometimes you're expecting X amount from taxes and you fall short, and then you have to go to the overdraft facility.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there are times to ensure that we respect the law, we turn the overdraft into a loan. You see what I'm saying? Because we have to, the Parliament gives us X amount of overdraft to take, and we have to be careful that we don't go beyond it. And if we have to go beyond it, then we have to turn this into a loan and not keep it as an overdraft facility, because overdraft is expensive. So everybody has to play their part. And this is why I believe that the private sector entities should not rush to release people, and let's hold people's hands still. And not because you may hear, well, government going to give some money, well, then you're going to let off people. That's not, God is not going to bless your business. Your business will cool. This is a time when each of us must look out for each other. And this is a time that the people who cause you, the private sector man, to have the millions today, you have to look out for these people. Yes. This is not a time to go and send people by the river to gather coconuts to go and sell. And neither can people put the whole entire responsibility on the government alone. We all have to play our part, as small as it may be. Because as the saying goes, say, Gwen Dewey kick Sag Dewey. You know, I'm sure, Daryl, you can understand that.
Yes.
you can understand that. But Tony can't understand that. So Tony is a grain of rice making a bag of rice.
I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So this is unfortunate, but you see, there are a lot of talkers out there, you know. But it is really the government that almost literally on its own pushing things. And so I have not decided whether I will use the DSS funds. This is, at the end of the day, will be a decision that I have to make, and a decision which I have to advise the cabinet on. But it is unfortunate that this thing is being engaged in the public domain with a whole set of falsehoods and misinformation. And how can this DFF guy called Archie Joseph quote the Prime Minister wrongly and inaccurately? If you want to quote a Prime Minister, get the transcript.
Mm-hmm.
Get the transcript. I saw an email he sent to the DSS, which is the basis upon which he's making his argument or he's demanding questions is false, inaccurate. These guys want to play the politics. If you want to play the politics, Mr. Joseph, at the DFF, then go on the political platform and take me on. But these guys come and you expect the glasses on them, and then when they come before you, when they're on the radio on social media, they talk about some nonsense. And when they be before me, they're quiet as a lamb. I don't look for war, I don't look for fights. People know me. I'm a peacemaker, my brother. I take my blows every single day. Easy going. But when it comes to people and people's livelihoods and people's future, we in Dominica and the various leaderships that we hold in this country must not play games, must not play political games. Men want to take me on politically and take my party on politically, then come in the ring. This party has bust people till 5 times, and we'll bust whoever till at the 6th time. The majority of Dominicans, and including those who don't support us, know of our enviable track record of transforming this nation in every sector. People taking for granted what this Dominica over there has done for Dominica today, but where was Dominica when we came in 2000?
True.
Where was Dominica when we came to Dominica? A bankrupt, backward country. Where it is today. People have made more money in the private sector under Roosevelt Skerrit than any other all governments put together. All. Dominica has the largest middle class it has seen in all of its lifetime, both pre and post independence. So let us work together. This is a period, my brothers and sisters of this country, all of us. We have to work together. We may not always agree on what approach to take or what should be done. But let us make our contribution with honesty and a conscious and deliberate intention to be sincere for efforts to help the people who are impacted directly or indirectly by COVID-19. And if those who don't want to hold the government hands, we will continue to work with Christ. But there's some political hacks out there who hiding under the umbrella or the facade of some acronym out there who are playing politics and trying to push opposition politics in the organization in a kind of subtle way, as if they're the only bright people this country has produced. My brother, I can take on any battle myself, but I'm not in the battle mode, my brother.
Yes.
So if we want to challenge something, let us give the full facts of the situation. So, Daryl, I'm saying to the country, the idea to take the SS money is not Roosevelt Skerrit's idea. The DEF has a trademark on this. It was their idea. They have a patent on this thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so when I'm speaking on this matter, the bibliography, I should reference DEF and the document.
10-point emergency business and labor market stabilization plan proposal.
You see how big was going to put in that?
Big words,
all of us would have no less than 15 words in it, letters in it, So but up until this day, so when I spoke on Saturday, I referenced that the DSS had made this recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
But we have not concluded this now. Because I did say to the country, at some point, I shall give details on these matters. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to set the record straight. on this matter. But finally say, I have not acted on this matter. This is not did not originate from us. And we want to thank the DSS, the director and the staff, for the extraordinary work that they did. I really commend them for this proactive approach of even reaching out to the actuary to seek advice on this matter. And the advice which they got from the actuary, who has known the DSS program for over 20 years, told them that in this circumstance, they can in fact use some of these funds for the purpose of providing some income support to the people. So the support which the Social Security would be given if we take a decision, would be ready for their membership, and we would come in and provide them with, because the idea was for them to manage on behalf of the government the income support, because they have a mechanism that they can pay, and they're very efficient and so forth. So we will transfer the funds to them, and they'll manage on behalf of the government.
Yes.
And pay people, whether it's fortnightly or weekly or monthly, and they made some recommendations on this, because there are people who are weekly paid, and fortnightly paid, and monthly paid. And they had even made a recommendation in consultation with the DAF on how much you would pay, the range that you would pay. You understand? And what percentage of somebody's salary would you pay? So all of these details are in the document that the DSS submitted to me.
Yes.
All of which, most of which came from the private sector people. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to make the records, clear the records and so on. So whoever wants to go to court and want to make a fool of themselves, you certainly will not have a responder, because the decision has been taken. So what injunction? What injunction are you going to put? Yeah, it's just ridiculous in this country sometimes with these people. But anyway, Darryl, any questions for me before I go?
Well, yes, before you go quickly.
I don't want to take your call, you're more important callers, I'm sure.
Before you go quickly, I wanted to touch on something I know that's very, very dear to you, your own constituency. I see that the Vekas Health Center is nearing completion.
Yeah, well, the Vekas Health Center is nearing completion. Yes, it's going to be a wonderful addition to the landscape of that village. And also we have a massive structure under construction, which is a multi-purpose structure. That multi-purpose structure will provide hurricane shelter. So we're building washrooms and a youth kitchen, storage facility, water storage. We also providing offices for the village council. The post office will be there, and putting in a library, a computer room, so that students can go in there and do their research and access not only books that are there, but also the World Wide Web and access libraries across the world. So we put in this facility there. And I really, it is a place where you could have your wedding reception. Because it's a very picturesque village. We've Guadeloupe in the background there, Marigoland, and Anse de May and Caribichi. I mean, you and your bride, you take a photograph there, and serious memories. So you might very well be the first person to host your wedding reception. And whatever fees that the committee will be managing this facility, I'll pay for it.
Thank you very much.
Look, you have a challenge.
I was waiting for that.
I'll pay for it as well.
Yes.
And I will, so we can do that.
Yes.
So we build this facility there. It will be named in honor of Mr. Alexis Williams, who was a member of Parliament for 10 years. So it will be named in his honor. And we're also building a new health center in Penville.
Yes.
Penville as well, which is well on its way. So these things will already improve the delivery of healthcare facilities and services, because Penville's facility was destroyed by the hurricane. and we tried to repair it, but it was not structurally sound, so we decided to move to a new health center.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me just make
Yeah.
one comment. Let me congratulate you, PM, for your innovation in building the Marigot Hospital. I know it was quite a challenge, but man, I saw, to use something which I normally use in it, you have the testicular fortitude, man, to move forward with that edifice in Marigot. With all that concrete being poured yesterday, my
Yeah.
goodness me, man.
And it is interesting, that the leader of the opposition had so much to say about hospital. Oh, the man
You make
has
me
already
laugh.
driven past by the hospital, on the construction farmer to want to go inside and to watch. These guys have no interest in nobody but themselves, man. Zero. They are looking for trouble, so he'll come up with some other thing very soon that he will beat drum on. You see, sometimes these guys criticize things and they demand things, not because they want it, Because if you criticize things and you demand things, and the good Lord is empowering the government to do it, I mean, the least you could do is recognize that it's been done. You see, but that's life, We just have to deal with the realities of life and forge ahead, and we're forging ahead. And I want to say to the Dominicans that this might be a difficult period for all of us in the world, Dominica included, but this is not a time for us to go and hide in the bushes or go in the mountains. No, this is a time for us to hold each other's hands and tell ourselves, by the grace of God, we shall overcome. We have overcame a number of challenges in the past, in recent past, and I mean we just have to deal with it. I am not at all daunted by this task. I tell the people I read the book of Job, and I get reassurance that is a test of faith and your commitment to humanity and your commitment to your country. And if we're committed to our country and humanity, we will work even harder to ensure that we can help each other. And this is how I view this challenge, and this is how I view other challenges. And I am just preoccupied on ensuring that we can help people and help people in a very sincere way. And this is what we're doing. So even while we're dealing with COVID-19 and dealing with economic challenges, I mean, I am now switched my mind also not away from these current things, but in addition to these current things, to deal with the hurricane season.
Yes.
And this is why I am very much preoccupied with the housing situation, and I had meetings with the Minister for Housing and his staff almost every day on housing. That's why I go in the field myself to see what's happening there and what needs to be done to push things so that we can have as many families as possible to get into these homes before the hurricane season. And that's my preoccupation, and this is why I spend some of my time going out in the field. While people are in the mountain hiding. So I don't have the luxury as the opposition, And besides that, the man love this period because the man, everybody time I say the man love staying home.
It's his time away from people.
The man love that thing. The man love, you see what the free meals, man.
Yes.
Lunch and dinner. Secured, man.
Riding his bicycle and his dog on his treadmill.
The man dog on his treadmill. That's a golden retriever. Not
Yes.
That's a golden retriever. Only on TV man see those dogs,
You can have those things,
Only on TV people see those dogs, man. A golden retriever, man. Yeah, that's a movie on his dog, That dog must have come from all the way from Alaska.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
But not only that, PM.
Alaska.
Not only that, PM. Let me just say something quickly, Larry, to the PM. And not only you're in your farm doing your work, and this man is in a farm with a expensive shoes, man.
Man goes barefoot to the farm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My brother, let me tell you something. I normally plant in the farm, but when I saw this COVID thing coming, I quadrupled my planting,
Yeah.
I quadrupled my planting, not only for myself, but to also reach out to as many people as possible, because that's why I farm really. I mean, I sell and I make some money. But my love for agriculture is my ability to give to somebody else that which comes out of my farm. So I mean, I've given out dozens and dozens of eggs. I mean, last week I gave out about 500 heads of lettuce from my farm, and 400 branches of celery. So silently planted.
Not even Zebois.
I'm so serious.
But PM, I wanted to ask you something on a light note. I notice you enjoying driving yourself around.
But I don't like security and everything. I like to, I like to be, I like the freedom of driving. So, but I may have to teach you police to drive because I don't think they can follow me.
They're not keeping up. But PM, also, I think you are also in the midst of budget preparations as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So we finalized the numbers and so we continue. There's a lot of things happening, that we don't talk about. But we're not only dealing with COVID-19, there are a number of things that we're dealing with, plus at the regional level, plus at the international level. This is really a 24-hour undertaking.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? While the other side, watching TV, the cartoons and all these things, and but how could you be so indifferent to people's struggle to post on social media breakfast, lunch, and dinner secured?
Yes.
I mean, you're not reaching out to nobody. The man are telling us to reach out to our neighbors. The man say his thing secure and he's get locked. The man not coming nowhere close to Marigot,
The only thing the man was happy with.
Yeah,
the only thing the man was happy with for government is social distancing. The best thing government ever do for him.
But on a light note, there, Darren,
we just legitimize his normal action in law.
Yes, PM. But not only that, the man is also saying that if persons are challenging him on money, he's prepared to give it to them in any form or kind,
That is something else. Because based on public pronouncements, people will have given Mr. Linton next to $400,000. So by you posting on your Facebook page that anybody who gave you money and who would wish to get a refund, please say so. So you tell me that you have $400,000 somewhere you can just give people back? That is something, eh?
That's a case you don't, man.
That's a case you see, they might give out information there, and then when we put it back, they say he never said that.
He never said that, yeah.
but by logical deduction, would mean that if 100% of the people who gave you money were to come back for their money, and they would have given you in excess of $400,000, it would mean, therefore, that you have that $400,000 there to refund them. Otherwise, you will be a purveyor of a calculated lie.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
My brothers.
Yes, PM.
Yes,
Well, I know you're busy, PM, so final words?
Final words?
No, thank you for taking my call, and I appreciate being there. If there are any questions the public has, please take note of it, and
Yes.
I can certainly respond.
Uh-huh.
Or any concerns the public has. I mean, I try to listen as much as I can.
Yes.
Because we're open for criticism, constructive criticism. We're open to suggestions. We're open to ideas. And those who are prepared to work with the government is prepared to work with you.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you, Prime Minister.
Take care.
All right. Thank you. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit there, speaking with us there on the phone. We told you he'd be on. Praying before the man finish. Look at the phone lines.
Let's take the calls now.
On the telephone, good morning.